ACL Nation, another episode of this revamped Throwdown. We're going to talk about some of the top performers in the ACL Virtual, as well as welcome special guest, owner and founder of West Georgia Cornhole, Brandon Breva. He's going to talk about how busy he's been, not only with his new bags and his bag manufacturing, but also in his fight against COVID-19. More details on that. This is the ACL Throwdown. ACL Nation, like I said, I got Brandon Breva on the show this week. But first, let's talk about ACL Virtual. We really had a good week and a half, almost 2 weeks behind us now of ACL Virtual. Players from across the country have been playing, even across the world have been competing in these virtual tournaments for cash and for glory. So I figured, why not take the opportunity to look at some of our top performing players across all of ACL Virtual. And again, these lists are as of April 8th. So let's take a look real quick at our top 10 average scores in ACL Virtual. Starting off at number 10, we got Nate Stevens out of Kentucky shooting an average of 95 in his deck around. Number 9, Tyler Cobb, 96 average. Justin Stranger, our first ACL Pro on the list, at 96. Jeremy Schermerhorn, 96.65. Trey Birchfield, Stormhog, Matthew Stout, and then our top 3, we'll start with Alan Rockwell shooting a 0.28. Incredible performance there. And then our top 2, check out this clip of Austin Slowbomb practicing in his gym, averaging over 100.5. Again, these are a minimum of 3 games played for these players. And then number 1 on our list, you check out Noah Wooten right here, playing on his dock. It doesn't matter the location, he's throwing 106.2, almost a 6-point lead on Austin Slowbomb for that number 1 spot in these rankings. So congrats to Noah Wooten, so far leading the leaderboard across the country for ACL Virtual. Let's also give some props to the top 10 most games played. Number 10, we got Steve Varner going up the list, Brian Schramm, Jimmy Stevens, Jeremy Schermerhorn, Joe Lake, Nate Francis, Steve Marks, Bob Piers, Chad Jackson, and the number 1 most games played with an ACL Virtual with 43 games is Colton Heisey. I know he's been a caddy on the PGA Tour. He's got nothing else to do now that the PGA isn't playing. He's at home. He's playing these ACL Virtual matches. So kudos to you, Colton, and thank you for your continued support. Keep playing those ACL Virtual matches. And all of you, stay tuned to see what else we got brewing with ACL Virtual and the different tournaments we're going to be rolling out. Let's get to my conversation with Brandon Breva of West Georgia Cornhole and see what all he's been doing and how many great things he's got going on down there in Georgia.
All right, ACL Nation, we got another revamped Throwdown to bring you today, and we're getting into a bag manufacturer series. We're going to talk to some of our biggest and best bag manufacturers across the ACL. We have a special guest today, Brandon Breva of West Georgia Cornhole. He is a busy man. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what he's doing as far as his manufacturing, his bags, as well as some special things he's got going on behind the scenes. So, Brandon, how you doing, man? Are you fighting through this quarantine? How are things rolling down there in West Georgia?
Yeah, we're doing good. You know, busy as always. I think we're actually busier than we were. We're definitely busier than last year. And you know, I went into this quarantine thing not having, knowing really what's going to happen. Either we're going to slow down really hard or we're going to ramp back up. So it was definitely an unknown situation. But yeah, we're going 100 miles an hour. We have a limited staff right now per the order for the state. So it's kind of a weird, odd time for for staff and employment. So we're doing everything we can. So, but luckily everybody's still safe and healthy. The family, everybody's family here, and employees that are working. So that's number one. Trying to keep them guys up to speed and healthy and stuff. So we're doing good in that avenue. So, but the orders are still rolling in and people are still buying, so that's a good thing. I think people are sitting at home getting kind of bored and doing some online shopping and doing all this virtual cornhole. So people are trying to get the gear and get bags and boards and score towers and stuff to make themselves look good on the camera. So that's a good thing for us.
I know you guys kind of do it all. There's a lot of different companies that we have that are just bags, but you guys are doing, like you said, you're doing the bags and the boards and the score towers, and you guys got some cool games and stuff like that. So it's not just the bags that are keeping you busy in comparison to everything else.
Yeah, that was kind of, well, obviously we started off with cornhole as number one, 7 years ago, and then as time progressed and customers' demand got a little more, and we kind of diversified the product line and started with other yard games, connect fours, tumble towers, score mates, launch pads for going on the board. So mostly geared toward cornhole. I would still say 80% of our business is cornhole related. So it's good to stay diversified though.
Yeah, so we'll jump into bags a little bit. You guys have a good series of bags, a few of them out there now. So what have been kind of your best sellers that people have kind of enjoyed the most, and what are some of those features of those bags that you like to highlight?
Yeah, we try to get a broad range, for all levels and all styles. So that's kind of been our goal since the beginning. Give from a really, really advanced all the way to a beginner. So, a beginner good bag would be, that we always kind of recommend, is our Stealth Bomber bag. It's a standard poly canvas one side and then a standard suede on the other. So you kind of get that, high and low. So you can, kind of diversify your throwing and stuff. And then all the way up to, a really, really advanced bag, I would say, is kind of our Mach 1. It's got kind of a unique backing to it, almost kind of like a silky micro, I don't know what we call it, micro fiberish material, and the other side's kind of got like a basket weave. So it's a real diverse bag, but it's still okay. It's more for the advanced player. So kind of been our goal. And then, really getting into a lot of testing and stuff here recently, some real scientific testing on the bags and the materials, the filler, the size, the weight, the variations, is just a big thing now. So we've got some scales that we're going to release here pretty soon. That's just going to educate the buyer on the different bags compared to other manufacturers too. We want to get them involved as well, just to kind of create a universal scale for all this type of stuff. So that's kind of what we're working on behind the scenes right now. So we'll see some stuff here pretty soon.
Sport needs is that kind of scale. So I think that'll be really helpful to grow the game across all levels when it comes to bags and possibly even boards as well. So that's kind of what you got going on. Obviously, you guys got a great thing going from that perspective. But you and I talked a little bit beforehand, and part of the reason I wanted to bring you on the show is amidst all of this COVID-19 chaos that's going on, you've been presented and taken advantage of a very unique opportunity that's been able to benefit the medical field in a great way. So I don't want to preface anything. I'll let you kind of take over. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing when it comes on the manufacturing side with the equipment that you have and what you've been able to do.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So it's kind of a unique thing, really out of our realm. Never even thought about it, but we got approached by a friend that works for a medical group out of Atlanta that has some capacity issues with making the face shield, the clear face shield that wrap around and stuff up here and on a bracket. So she works for a medical group out of Atlanta, and they have some connections with some hospitals around Georgia for supplies and surgical equipment and stuff. So she approached us, asked if we could kind of get involved with the manufacturing of the pieces and stuff. So we did some samples and gave them to them, turned them in, and they loved them and said, now you got to make a lot of them. We're like, well, how many? And they said, start off with 10,000 of these units, and then potentially 250,000. So, yeah. So she, originally she kind of knew some of the equipment, some of the capabilities that we had. So we have a laser cutter that does some of our products for us. So that has a little bit more capacity to throw some material on there than some of our other equipment. So I knew we could take on the job. So said we could help out and wanted to be part of the cause and try to get this thing dealt with and over with. So help some of the first responders with some of the protection and stuff like that they need. So we're in the process, going full speed with these things now and getting them cranked out. So.
Yeah, I mean, before you know it, they're gonna want some type of long-term deal, and they're gonna kick out all of your cornhole board laser cutters or whatever you're using them for, and you're gonna have to get some more.
Yeah, so we've got, it was the one piece, the face shield, the clear one was easy. We can cut that on the lasers just out of some real thin film. But the other piece was a molded acrylic piece, so we're having to make all kinds of different jigs and molds to run them through some ovens and get them heated up and bend them. So that was a big, development type stuff we had to do there, and some R&D. So we finally got it worked out here first thing this morning. So as far as a final prototype for the molds, so we're going to be going full speed today on them and getting these things over to them by Friday. They got a big deadline to meet on Friday. So.
Well, I don't want to hold you up much longer. I know you are a busy man. We thank you for your support in that regard. To the medical field, obviously that's something that our country needs big time. And then, of course, we also thank you for your support of the ACL being an exclusive bag manufacturer. We're very grateful to have you on board. You got a lot of good things going. Brandon, thank you so much for joining me. And, man, enjoy it. Keep rolling.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. Y'all stay safe.
Thank you so much, Brandon Breva, for your time this week. Continue what you are doing, not only the cornhole community, but really the rest of the community here in Georgia. Thanks you for your support to fight COVID-19. Remember, if you got an ACL trick shot, make sure you submit those using the hashtag ACL trick shot. Post your videos to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and using that hashtag, we'll be able to connect with all of you out there getting bored, doing some intense trick shots, and hey, who knows, maybe you'll be featured on next week's episode of Trick Shot Tuesday. That's all the time that we got this week for the American Cornhole League. This has been your host, Trey Ryder. We'll see you guys next week.